So I was just going through my photos, right? So it's like a time capsule of memories, right? So it's like we're going back in time to different energies. So I went back all the way in time and was feeling the energies of young Lucretia, and I was comforting her and letting her know that, honey, you deserve so much love. And then I came to the realization that, the reason I kept forgiving my father is because it's like I was looking for some kind of confirmation to see if it was all in my head or what was going on. Like, I didn't know that it wasn't normal to be abused. You know what I mean? Like, and then sometimes I would think, like, is it all in my head? Because the outside world would be acting like nothing is wrong. They would watch him abuse me and still smile at him, and they wouldn't say anything was wrong with it. So in the eyes of a young girl growing up, she struggles with boundaries, with knowing what is right from what is wrong, what she should be accepting from what she shouldn't be accepting. And that's what the energy that I was placed in, right? I didn't know that I knew that what he was doing to me or how he was treating me felt wrong. I knew that I didn't want to be treated that way. But I, for some reason, seemed to have needed some kind of outside validation that I wasn't going crazy, that he was actually treating me the way that he was actually treating me, and it actually was wrong indeed. Like, because even when my dad abandoned me for his new family, right, my grandma never, like, everybody was acting like it was normal. The only person that had something to say was my aunt, but then she died, right? And then right after she died, nobody said anything else. Like, it was like, so like, it was kind of like, just so, right? So it's like, I really, really struggled with that for many years. Like, I didn't know what was right from what was wrong. Even, recently I found myself struggling with those energies because I was thinking to myself, like, and that's why it takes so long to tell my story, because sometimes it's like you want to tell your story, but you hear other stories that are so much worse, right, than yours. And you're like, man, like, maybe mine isn't worth telling, right? But then, what really touched me was to know that every single time I did tell my story, people were always shocked, right? Always. And it was their reactions that let me know that something was wrong with what I was accepting. I remember when I first met that older church woman that I used to look up to, like a mother figure, and I was actually trying to take up for my grandmother. Like, she was asking me, like, questions, like, how come she didn't see me in church and stuff. And I was telling her, like, oh, well, I was pregnant and my grandma said that I couldn't, because I had given up my apartment because I had got pregnant with my daughter. And I thought that I thought that me and her father were gonna get an apartment or whatever. And after he spoke to I don't know what his mama said to him, but honey, the plans changed. Okay, so then I was just looking for a place on my own, and then my mom's house burned down. So because I went to her house, right, but I wasn't there long, because I think, like, I went to her house maybe Monday, and then Tuesday or Wednesday the house burned down. Like, I don't know. So yeah, her garage burned down, and so it was the same exact thing all over again. So now I'm like, okay, where am I gonna go? So we went to my grandmother's house, and she didn't want me to stay there because I was pregnant. So I had to go to the shelter. So I was just telling the church lady, I was like, yeah, I couldn't stay there because I was pregnant. My grandma said that she couldn't be a missionary in the church and have her pregnant granddaughter under her roof, which I respected and understood. And the more I spoke, it was the more this church lady would be like, what? Like, it's like she was so offended. Like, I would tell her how my grandma would buy treats and snacks for the other kids and say my kids couldn't have any. And I don't know how I was able to justify that in my head. Like, I knew it was wrong because I would buy my kids candy right after, because I'd be like, what the hell? Like, and I would tell my grandma that was mean and that was not, like, that's not cool, right? But I don't know, like, it was the reactions from other people. That was really it. It was like when I started to realize that other people were, like, flabbergasted. And I was like, damn, like, I guess that really made me start to sit down and really think about it. But there wasn't really anything to think about because I knew the way I was being treated was wrong. But, like, I just kind of tried to justify it in my own little mind. Like, I was just justifying all their actions, literally justifying it and accepting it and trying to make myself believe that it's just me not accepting it. Like, because I remember one time when the same time when the police asked me if I wanted to press charges because my dad beat me so bad that my neck was swollen in black, blue, and purple, right? And I remember my brother was angry that the police were even involved, right? And he was like, oh, why would you even tell them anything? That's so spoiled of you and this and that. And I was like, bro. And I was like, what? Like, bro, like, do you not see me? Like, do you not see me? And the best part about that whole incident is I don't feel like, okay, like, I know even if I did do something bad, I wouldn't have deserved that, right? I know that. But it was the fact that I literally didn't do anything. Like, my mom literally set me up. Like, that, I will never forget that. Like, literally, it was a setup. Like, I asked her to go downstairs to the lobby because my friend was coming to tell me something. And she told me yes. She fully I mean, she was laughing when she said yes, but she's always laughing. So she said yes. So I went downstairs and came back upstairs to him beating me. The hell. And then she was laughing while he was beating me too. So I'm just like, bro, like, it was a big setup. There was really, and my whole thing is she fully told me I can go anyways. I know who my mom is, so it doesn't make sense that I get angry, right? But yeah, I just came to that realization. It's like it was so hard for me to accept in that moment. Like, it was so hard for me to accept that I wasn't loved. It was hard, really hard, extremely hard, especially like by my mom too. Like, not only my father, with my mom too. I think that's why I forgave her so much times, because it was like I literally couldn't accept it. Like, it was hard for me to accept. Like, and they always say, like, people always show you who they are, right? But for some, sorry, I could have, okay, so the cabinet, I could have sworn to God I just saw a black head just peep out and looking at me when I was talking about my mom. And I told you how she, anyways, let me just not even get into that energy, because that's dark energy. But yeah, it was really hard for me to accept. Like, it was really hard, especially my grandma, because even though, like, even when she told me she wasn't my mom, it's not the first time she told me, but it seems like that's the only time she told me, and it was able to register, like, actually register in my head. And I was heartbroken. I was shattered. But I don't know why, because I knew I was treated differently, but I still, it's like, it was hard for me to accept. All these truths they were so hard for me to accept. Extremely hard, which is why I understand that it's hard. And I understand when people say it's hard for them to cut off their family members, because it is hard. It's extremely hard. Like, you don't want to believe that your family members, people that you see in such a divine light, look at you lower than thou, right? You want to think that they love you as much as you love them, right? So when you find out that that's not the case, it shatters you, it breaks you internally, especially when you find out that the person you made your world around, they were the angel. Like, no, my grandmother could not do any wrong in my eyes. I seen a lot of stuff, but everything she did, I just brushed it off my shoulder, because I'm like, I love her. She's my grandma. She can't do nothing wrong. So, even for me to come to the realization, like, honey, I'm just being blind because I wanted to be blind, right? So I had to actually, like, step up and wake up to actually step up and wake up, right? They don't want to see the things sometimes, even though they're red in her face. She's always told me she wasn't my mother, right? It just never registered until then, right? I mean, I always knew I wasn't considered her child, because even when I was younger and I tried to call her mom, I wasn't allowed, but my brother was, right? Same way how I wasn't allowed to call her daughter auntie, but my brother was. So yeah, it's just confusing. It's just so confusing. And even the fact that I was so obsessed with her is confusing, but I understand. Like, she was the only person, right? My dad was doing his own thing and my mom was doing her own thing. So yeah, I grew up attached to people that were just like doing their son a favor. So it's just like, yeah, it really messes with you internally and how you view people and how you see the world. That is some real shit. Like, for real. Well, thanks for listening. I just wanted to, like, share that part so I can come back to it another time.